What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. So, we already ended one series this week, and it looks like it's time for another. See, this one isn't really as clear cut. There is no way of knowing how it'll end, and obviously no way of knowing if it'll end good or bad. Will everyone make it out okay, or will everything end terribly? And that's one of the best parts, we're going in completely blind. For this video, just because I do it with every other video, let's set a like goal of 3,000 likes. And with that introduction out of the way, let's conclude what if Beerus woke up early, picking up where we left off last time. So if you haven't seen the last part, go watch it, it's pretty pivotal and you'll need the context here. But I'm assuming you already did, so you know some pretty big events happened in that part. Specifically the ending where Beerus ended up erasing himself, all in an effort to stop Cell, who was growing stronger and stronger. He was successful, but it did cost him his life. And the thing is here, he's erased. Normal Dragon Balls are going to be able to bring him back. It's not like he just died. Everyone is basically in a state of trying to process what just happened, and then Kibito teleports in. Not only would he likely be monitoring what's happening on Earth, but he'd be affected too. On his planet, he'd see Shin get erased. Since he's linked with Beerus, and because Beerus dies, Shin does too. And that puts Kibito in a really odd position. He's basically the highest god in the universe right now. There's no god of destruction, and the Supreme Kai just died too. And since Kibito's the attendant, well, he's probably next in line to be Supreme Kai. Without any gods here, it's basically his job to fix up this mess now. And it's a pretty big task. He's gonna act as Supreme Kai now, but they're gonna need a god of destruction as well. It's something that's pretty urgent and they should probably fix it. And he wonders if they could revive Beerus or Shin. He assumes that Beerus just died, but then they explain he died due to a Hakai. So he reveals to everyone that Beerus is gone permanently. Neither Earth's Dragon Balls nor Namek's will be able to revive him. He wasn't killed, he was completely destroyed. So, in that case, they definitely will need a new god of destruction. Kibito doesn't know where he'll find one on such short notice, especially one strong enough to take the role. But then he realizes there's a bunch of strong godly fighters in front of him. He asks seeing if anyone wants to stand in, saying it might just be a temporary thing. They all trained with Beerus, so they could be good candidates. No one really knows what to say. And after some deliberation and silence, the person to step up is Trunks. He doesn't do this confidently. He's still pretty conflicted about what happened with Beerus. But he begins thinking, this whole time he was mad at the leadership of the gods. And even if this is just a temporary thing, Trunks can maybe help turn that around. In a way, this is what he's wanted all along. So nervously, he steps up, offering to be the candidate for now. Kibito asks if Trunks understands the gravity of this, and he does. He needs to be 100% serious and no turning back. The good thing is, if Trunks becomes a god of destruction, they may have a chance at reviving Whis. See, it was never really clear what happens with the angels when gods of destruction die. They were never stated to actually die alongside the god, but just become inactive. So maybe Whis is just on standby in Universe 7, or has returned home as an unaffiliated angel. But if they get another god of destruction, they'll get him back. And he would be able to help out a lot. Kibito is not too sure about the process himself. I mean, usually it's a god of destruction promoting another god of destruction, not an apprentice Kai trying to appoint one. So it's not something that's going to happen right away. Before Trunks is officially promoted to this position, Kibito's going to need to do some research on this. And although he fears it, he's going to have to contact Zeno too. This may take some time, so briefly he departs. In the meantime though, Earth is relatively peaceful now, and Trunks has some free time to catch up with the future Bulma. He's glad that she was able to escape. He's sad and feels guilty about what happened to his timeline, but after she hears everything that happened, she realizes it's not his fault. She never blamed him at all. She knew he probably just got stuck here, which is the case. The good thing is, at least now both of them are alive and well. Except for the fact that Trunks is now going to have to become a god of the universe. Something he would have never expected. If only he knew what he got himself into when he traveled back in time. For now, he decides to train. He aims to get stronger, so he could be a good god of destruction. He needs to somehow reach Beerus' level if possible. As Kibito tries to figure things out, more time passes. But just because these things happen on Earth, that doesn't mean it's going to affect what happened in Universe 6. Champa would still probably pay Universe 7 a visit in order to get the Super Dragon Balls for himself. He and Vados arrive in Universe 7, and it's oddly quiet. He expected at least some form of resistance, but he's able to get the Super Dragon Balls that he needed. But the weird thing is he can't sense Beerus at all, so he decides he's going to pay the planet a visit. Vados takes Champa to Beerus' planet, and it's just empty. No one's there. That's odd. She even tries to contact Whis, but that doesn't work. As we've seen with the angels, Vados probably wouldn't be too concerned about her brother. But as for Champa, he'd probably care about what happened with Beerus. He's actually a bit worried, if anything. Not only because something may have happened with his brother, but also the universe as a whole. If something did happen with Beerus, this could have disastrous consequences. He decides he's going to get to the bottom of this. This means that there's no Universe 6 tournament, since Beerus isn't there to help initiate it. And although Champa has the Super Dragon Balls, he's not just going to steal Earth either. He saves them just in case, as he searches around the universe finding clues. The best place to check is the Sacred World of Kais. So they head there and meet Kibito. They know something's off when he's the only Kai there, and ask if he knows anything. Kibito tells him all that he knows, trying to explain what happened. The thing is though, Kibito wasn't there to witness the whole thing. Sure, he and Shin were monitoring it, but they don't have the full details. If Champa wants more answers, his best bet is going to Earth and asking everyone there, as he goes back to his research trying to figure out how to promote Trunks to an actual god of destruction, if that's even possible for him. Of course, Champa wouldn't mind having to go to Earth. He wanted to get it for himself anyways, so he may as well have some fun while visiting it. And of course, the first thing he does there is try and get some food, throwing everyone into a state of panic as he goes around the city and they see a giant purple cat walking around doing whatever he wants. He doesn't pay for the food because he doesn't know what Earth money is. And with Champa being Champa, I'm sure he'd threaten a few people too. He doesn't care about money, he just wants food. This odd story makes breaking news. And I mean, the news would be pretty weird regardless. A fat purple cat going around with an angel doing whatever he wants, stealing food and possibly destroying some things. But the news is even more alarming for the Z fighters. A purple cat, looking for food, destroying things. There's no way. Is Beerus back? They head over immediately. And as they arrive, they see what's going on. Although the two people there aren't Beerus and Whis. It looks like a fat version of Beerus and a female Whis. Weird. But since they're causing havoc, the group goes on guard as they head over. They encounter Champa, and at first, he's not too amused, more people trying to stop him. But then something catches him off guard. He senses God Ki in some of these fighters. These must be the people that Kibito was telling him about. They begin talking and they find out that he knows Beerus and vice versa. So what Kibito said was true. Beerus was erased from existence. This is definitely concerning news, and Champa thinks for a bit. He wonders if he could fix this with the Super Dragon Balls. Sure, he'd love to use it for his own selfish desires, but he'd probably want to also revive his brother. Not to mention, he doesn't want Zeno finding out about this. He tells everyone to follow him, as Vados takes them all into space, gathering the Super Dragon Balls together. Champa's not sure if this will work, but he decides to go for it anyways. The group doubts it'll work too, but when you think about it, this would definitely happen. The Super Dragon Balls restored all those erased universes in the Tournament of Power. Reviving Beerus here wouldn't be a problem, and it of course comes as a surprise to other people there. Beerus has revived, as is Shin, and now Whis can become active once more. Beerus is equally surprised, especially finding out Champa did it. Champa acts like he did it for his own safety from Zeno, but really it was a gesture to help his brother. He wonders what Champa was even doing there in the first place, suspicious of his motives. But Champa yells at Beerus, telling him he should be grateful. Vados and Whis watch, and they're glad to see that the two are acting like normal. Although there's another thing that interests Beerus. He learns what Trunks is doing this time. And while Beerus doesn't plan on retiring or dying anytime soon, a God of Destruction candidate may not be a bad idea. So, he decides Trunks deserves to get a chance. Beerus knows that he's been hard on Trunks all the time, but Trunks is strong and he shows some good promise. He seemed motivated to help Universe 7 while Beerus was dead. So he decides he's going to officially promote Trunks to a God of Destruction candidate, if he's truly serious about it. Champa and Vados depart, and as a gift, Beerus says he'll be sure to give Champa his own Earth eventually. But now, he's going to focus on Trunks. Here we get into a short time skip. There wouldn't be any Zamasu here. Without the Universe 6 tournament, he wouldn't really be set off by Goku fighting him. And sure, Trunks and Bulma did time travel, but I don't feel like that's going to be enough to take him off like he was there. And even if Zamasu even did anything, I mean, he'd be terrorizing a timeline where the only living thing there is Cell. So it's not like he'd really be accomplishing much. Of course, this means no Tournament of Power either. Without the Universe 6 tournament, Zeno would never even get the idea. And of course, there would be no Broly either. He remains on Vampa. We just skipped those 3 arcs, but the Moro arc is still going to happen. So the time skip ends there. It's been some time since the events of the last arc. Trunks has remained on Beerus' planet, training with him and Whis, occasionally visiting Earth as well. Goku and Vegeta do the same, but they're not as dedicated as Trunks. They go back to Earth occasionally, especially with Vegeta having another kid. The whole dynamic of the Vegeta family is weird now. He has 2 of the same wife, 2 of the same son, and now a newborn daughter. Awkward wouldn't even begin to describe this dynamic. But you know what? Future Bulma's fine with it because the girl that she's competing with is herself. It's not like Vegeta left her for someone else. It's just weird to see, and a bit sad that she never got this opportunity either. Goku's on Earth as well trying to make money, finding good success as a farmer. As for Tarbell, well, he just enjoys life peacefully. He never really had a reason to become a fighter, so he's not going to be really training consistently like Vegeta was. He's basically just glad to be here. The Moro arc starts pretty normally. Beerus ends up arriving on Earth looking for Boo, but there's no Boo here, so he decides to get Goku and Vegeta instead to come with him. It would be nice if they could take Trunks along too, but they might not need him. And they don't really have a way of contacting him instantly. Well, as far as Goku and Vegeta know. They don't realize they're with an angel right now. Anywho, much of the stuff on Namek goes normally. Without the Tournament of Power and the Zamasu arc, Goku and Vegeta would probably be weaker than normal. Plus, there's no Boo there to fight Moro. But this change isn't too massive. I feel like if anything, it only means Moro gets his wish faster. But besides that, a lot of it goes normally. And once Moro gets his wish, Trunks is able to sense this from Beerus' planet. Beerus and Whis are watching too. Not only could they sense Goku and Vegeta fighting before, but there's also this huge surge of power once Moro gets his wish. Before, they thought maybe Goku and Vegeta can handle it themselves, but maybe not. Trunks tells Beerus he should just go there and finish it quickly, Hakkaiing Moro and getting it over with. But Beerus says Goku and Vegeta can handle it themselves. And he doesn't really want Trunks going there because he's concerned that Moro may just steal his energy, and they'll have another Cell situation on their hands. I mean, look how that went last time. They don't want another repeat of that. Being erased once was painful enough, and Beerus doesn't want to have that happen again. He also doesn't want that to happen to Trunks, so he tells him to stay here for now. As Trunks tries to think of a plan on his own, Goku and Vegeta go off to do their own training. Goku of course doesn't know Ultra Instinct here, he never got it because there was no Tournament of Power, but Beerus probably would introduce him to it at some point. Goku would notice the strength of this galactic patrolman, and they start training, which would lead him to explain Ultra Instinct to Goku. He tells Goku it's useful, but it's going to be very hard to get. And as for Vegeta, he'd most likely still head to Yardrat, there's no reason to change that. But when Moro's crew first attacks Earth, this is where we'll see some changes. Of course, Piccolo and Krillin would be there trying to defend, and Gohan would eventually arrive on the scene to face 7-3. While Goku and Vegeta are weaker in this scenario, as we've seen in the last parts, Gohan's trained a bit more. And I wouldn't say he's hugely stronger than his canon self, but I could definitely say he's more refined here as a fighter. And this time around, he's not going to risk having the fight go on too long. And we even saw this in the original manga, he almost did finish off 7-3. But here he's going to go for that right away instead of trying to fight some more. In order to defend Earth, Gohan defeats 7-3 right away, surprising the rest of the crew as everyone retreats. At least those who haven't been defeated or captured. Moro is concerned about 7-3 dying, but he decides that if they let Earthlings train a bit, he'll have a better snack once he goes to eat it. In the meantime, he'll just go around eating other planets. We go back to Trunks. He wants to train for more power to see if he can defeat Moro as quickly as possible, without risking his power being stolen. He wants to be so far ahead of Moro that Moro won't even have time to take his energy. Whis does know one technique, Ultra Instinct. It seems that Goku's training with Beerus to try and get it, but it may take some time for Trunks to get it if he wants it himself. Oh yeah, Whis realizes he forgot to mention, Beerus is his brother, which comes as a shock to Trunks. He knows Goku's training with that angel, but that's probably going to take too long. He wants to end things right now. Planets are dying by the dozens and he wants to end that. While Beerus warned Trunks about fighting Moro, Trunks wants to end this really quickly, and asks again for Beerus to let him go. Begrudgingly, Beerus agrees this time. He tells his student that he's allowed to fight, but if things get bad, he needs to leave as soon as possible. Whis will take him there and will be there to watch. Trunks asks Whis if he can help, but Whis reminds Trunks that angels can't get involved in fighting, although he will give Trunks one thing. When they arrive at Moro's ship, Whis creates a giant barrier, just so Trunks is able to breathe in space. With this giant barrier created, Moro's ship crashes into it, leaving everyone on board confused. A giant blast then tears the ship into two, killing most of the people on board besides Moro. Out of the ship's remains, Moro steps out, seeing Trunks. He hasn't seen this fighter before, although he does sense a strange power emanating off him. But it seems like he is powerful, maybe he'll make a good snack. Although, bad news for Moro, Trunks isn't playing around here. Right away, he charges a large ball of energy in his hand, throwing it right at Moro. Moro laughs at this, opening his mouth ready to eat this blast. But Trunks knew this. This ball of energy looked massive, but it didn't have too much packed into it. Trunks merely threw this as a distraction. As Moro eats the giant ball, he realized that there wasn't much energy in it, and as he consumes it, he noticed that Trunks disappeared, as he then feels a hand on his back. Before he can even turn around to see Trunks there, energy rockets through his chest, as Trunks shouts Hakkai. From the hole in his chest, Moro begins disintegrating, surrounded by a purple glow as he slowly disappears. As Moro is erased, Whis enters the barrier once more, congratulating Trunks on his victory. It seems his judgment was right once more. Beerus should have just let him go sooner, and now for Beerus he could finally relax. The universe is safe now, and Trunks is victorious. And Trunks is his personal choice for a god of destruction after all, so he can't help but feel proud too. As for Goku and Vegeta, they most likely would be unaware of this for some time, continuing their training until they eventually find out that Moro was already defeated by Trunks. Even after hearing this, they continue their training regardless. Vegeta's interested in the spirit control thing, while Goku's interested in Ultra Instinct. You know, training some more wouldn't really hurt, and now they have a new goal. Trunks is clearly far ahead of them. But maybe if they continue their individual trainings, they can catch up. The best part is there's no pressure now. Moro was gone and they have no constraints. So this generates a friendly competition between Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, with the three Saiyans wanting to see who can become the strongest. This pleases Beerus too. It only means that Trunks will get stronger as well. He's already done some good things for this universe. Not to mention he's pretty strong. Beerus made the right choice in giving him this position. And you know, even though he is a bit remorseful for how he treated Trunks at first, he knows that it was all for the better. And I mean, Trunks did break the law. Beerus had to show some sort of authority to him, but that's besides the point. He couldn't care less about that now. What matters most is that Beerus now has a strong candidate for the next god of destruction. And Universe 7 is pretty good right now. Hopefully, once Trunks does become the god of destruction, he can keep it that way. He shows a lot of promise. As Beerus watches Whis train Trunks, this is where we'll end off the scenario now. So, what did you guys think about this scenario? If anything happens next, what do you think may happen? And what did you think about this part specifically? Do you think Trunks will make a good GOD? Leave all your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future uploads on my channel, including more videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thanks for supporting this scenario, and I'll see you all in my next video.